rather. Outside! Oh,
Smashing the world record, unbelievable! He's done it again!
Look at the air, look at the hang time, look at the flying motion.
Was it the spectacular highlight?
Oh!
You know what I'm saying, when the fires are going
today, and we have a full preview of what's to come this season in the English Premiership. We look at the managers, the club size, the players to look out for, and eventually how the lineup will look like from the top to the bottom in the English Premiership. As usual, feel free to share your opinions with me. My Twitter handle is @SammyBartels, @SammyBartels. So tweet me your own expectations. Which club side is your pick for the new Premier League season? Will it be Chelsea? Will it be Manchester United, the defending champions, a revamped Man City, perhaps Arsenal, or Liverpool, or perhaps Tottenham Hotspurs, who are the dark horses, and who would, at the end of the day, lift the trophy? I'd like to know what you think. Just tweet me @SammyBartels, or go to our Facebook page, GH1 Entertainment, and post your comments. Also today, I'll be bringing you highlights from yesterday's action in the World Athletics Championship, which is currently underway in Russia. Well, significant note for a lot of Ghanaians is that Ghana's Ignatius Geyser, who now features for the Netherlands, won the silver medal in the long jump. Ghana's loss becoming the Netherlands' gain. We'll touch on that. And then I'll give you highlights of that game played midweek, which a lot of you missed. Ghana versus Turkey. We'll see how Ghana drew 2-2 with Turkey. So there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot to show you on this edition of the game. I'm going for my first break. When I come back, it's non-stop action on today's edition of the game. Stay tuned.
I'm Ricardo Carvalho. Keep watching the game on GH1. And GH1.
Despite the dominance of Portuguese, Carvalho endorsing our show. Thank you very much, Ricardo. Now let's start the program today, and the question I'm asking is, who's your pick to win the English Premiership this season? Tweet me @SammyBartels, and I would make sure I read your message. If you didn't know, well, let me inform you before I go to athletics first, that the first goal of the new English Premiership season has been scored. It was scored by Daniel Sturridge for Liverpool, who lead Stoke City, coached by Mark Hughes, by a goal to nil. Looks like portends good things for Liverpool, but we would find out when my guests are introduced, and then we start a discussion on the English Premiership. First, though, let's start from the World Athletics Championships, which is currently underway in the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow, in Russia. Yesterday was day 7, and there were a number of interesting activities. The women's 200 meters, was settled. The men's 200 meters semi-final was settled as well. The men's 5,000 was settled, and the 4x400 meters was also settled, with the United States claiming back the title they lost at London 2012. Here are highlights from the Luzhniki Stadium in Moscow.
The biggest names in the world of athletics were in action in the evening session of the 7th day at the 2013 IAAF World Championships in Moscow. Medals were up for grabs, but first South African GhOne TV was attempting to qualify for the men's 1,500-meter final. He started well, but as the bell rang, found himself against it. But a stunning final 200 meters saw him finish in 5th in a time of 3:43.71, doing just about enough to qualify for the final. Kenyan pair Aspel Kiprop and Silas Kiplagat were the winners of the first semi-final. Almost a year after lining up against Usain Bolt at the Olympics, Anaso Jobodwana did the same, as a place in the final of the men's 200 meters was at stake. Expectedly, Bolt was in cruise mode, but Jobodwana again highlighted his potential by finishing 2nd to qualify for the final in a personal best time of 20.13 seconds. After Olympic champion Greg Rutherford failed to qualify for the men's long jump final, Russian Alexander Menkov was heavily favoured in a wide-open event featuring South Africa's Khotso Mokoena. Menkov didn't disappoint, leaping to the gold medal with a jump of 8.56 meters.
And another big jump. He is really on song. Look at him. The crowd are really enjoying this long jump over the back straight. Menkov is putting on a real show here in front of his hometown.
Mokoena finished in a disappointing 7th with a best jump of 8.1 meters. Ilroy Gallant faced a daunting task in the men's 5,000-meter final as he lined up against Mo Farah, Yenyu Elamiriu and Kenya's Edwin Soy, who became the first man for 2 years to beat Farah outdoors at the Eugene Diamond League in June. It was a slow start to the race as the big guns held back, but heading into the home straight, the race burst to life.
The 10,000-meter champion is going to do the double. Farah wins. A brutal sprint on the line. He held on really well.
Farah continues to rewrite the history books as he became the first Briton to win consecutive world titles. There was an all-star cast in the women's 200-meter final as Alison Felix and Shelly Ann Fraser-Price renewed their rivalry in Moscow. The duo are expected to be challenged by Nigeria's Blessing Okagbare, who shone on the Diamond League circuit. And there was to be drama at the Luzhniki Stadium.
Well, off they go, and look for Felix in 3 and Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. Fraser-Price is storming away on the athletes outside her, and Felix is pulled up. Oh, what a tragedy for her. But out front, it's Fraser-Price who's leading the way. It's Ahore further outside, and Okagbare. Those are going to be the medalists, and it is the double for Shelly Ann Fraser-Price.
It was another great night for the Jamaican as she completed the sprint double, while the Côte d'Ivoire's Muriel Ahore and Okagbare finished in 2nd and 3rd respectively. While there were celebrations for Fraser-Price, there were tears for Felix, who was left devastated.
Welcome back from Moscow there. So the Netherlands gain is Ghana's loss. Remember that in the weeks leading up to the World Championships, Ignatius Geyser wrote to the Ghana Athletics Association requesting permission to switch to the Netherlands, and it seems to have paid dividends for him. He came 2nd with a jump of 8.29 meters behind Menkov, whom you saw there, the Russian, with 8.56 meters to win the long jump. So congratulations to Ignatius Geyser. Perhaps that should cause our authorities to take further steps to ensure that the athletes have whatever it takes so they can excel at international level. I can tell you one difference. Ignatius Geyser would have traveled to Russia alone, but having competed for the Dutch side, he had a personal coach, he had physios, and he had a whole team of people around him. So why wouldn't he perform? And this is his longest jump since 2006, a year in which he completely dominated the jumps, winning the indoor championships, winning the African championships as well. So good for him, bad for Ghana, but we have to face it because we deserve it. We haven't put enough in our sports over the years. And then you also saw the 200 meters final. Quite unfortunate for Alison Felix, collapsing with an injury before she got into the final straight. But take nothing away from Fraser-Price. She's won the double of 100 and then 200 meters. Well, in the 200 meters, Ghana's sole athlete who had gone to Moscow on a wild, card was hoping to do something. So I'll show you the heats. 200 meters heat in which Janet Amponsa, Ghana's representative, competed, but the truth is that she was never in with a chance. She came 8th in the heats and never advanced beyond that stage. There are a few other finals coming up today, including the 200 meters for the men, and the odds-on favorite is Usain Bolt. Nobody will put smart money on anybody else. It has to be on Usain Bolt. And on Monday's edition of the game, I'll bring you highlights of all those other ones. Now let's go to football. Before we go to the Premier League, which is our main agenda today, let's go to Turkey. The Black Stars played a friendly match against the Turkish national team. Asamoah Gyan scoring 2 goals as the Stars came from behind to draw 2-2 after Barak Yilmaz and then Umut Bulut had put the Turks ahead. Here are highlights from the game which was played on Wednesday.
Topu uzaklaştıramadı ve Burak topu önünde buldu. Yerden düzgün vuruşu ağlarla buluşuyor. Burak Yılmaz'ın golü Türkiye 1, Ghana 0.
The Turks went ahead quite early in the game, and you can say that the defense of the Black Stars could have done much better. This was lax defending for them, allowing Barak Yilmaz, remember him, he plays for Galatasaray, to score the opening goal at the Atatürk Stadium. And then the second goal almost coming here from the same Barak Yilmaz. So at this stage, the Turks were in absolute control of the game. The Ghanaians were in tatters at this stage. And they could have gone 2-0 up, the Turks. But thankfully, that ball, although it beat the goalkeeper, and it was Adam Korase who started the game for Ghana, did not find the back of the net. And remember, Ghana were using this game to prepare for the 6th of September game against Zambia, which will determine who qualifies for the playoff stage of the World Cup, and the playoffs will be taking place in October. So the Tex led by 2-0 in the first half. In the second half, most people thought that Ghana would just do damage control and prevent them from scoring any further goals. So this is the second Turkish goal. Again, where was the defense? Good cross there from Hamit Altintop and Umut Bulut, connecting beautifully at the near post, and it came off the Ghanaian player to go to the far post eventually. Terrible. And Paco Arthur is here with me. Paco, you're watching this. It raises questions about the death of the Ghanaian squad, doesn't it?
Well, but it does. But the good part also is about the fact that they showed resilience, came back, put the strengthened the side, and we got the lead equalizer. I want to rather pick more of the good points from this game. I mean, we scored 2 goals. We did, and from what we saw, the 2 goals we conceded seemed like the defensive blunders. So it means that if they should...
That was quite a goal from Asamoah.
Yes, it was. Well, goalkeeping blunder there,
yeah.
So, but the effort was genuine. So that you feel that if there should be any work, then we should still be looking at strengthening our defense. I mean, the Black Stars defense seems still to be our weakest link. And it's a way we need to quickly work at it. The Zambians will punish us if they get these opportunities come the 6th September in Kumasi. We can't afford to falter. So it is good to play Turkey, learn our mistakes, and then perhaps improve and do better against Zambia.
Well, you can't fault Asamoah Gyan for dancing so extensively. He came off the bench.
I was told that when he was coming in, he actually assured the fans, the Ghanaian troop, that he was going to equalize the 2 goals, and that shows that he has come of age. I mean, he's a captain of the side. He needs to lead by example. People have always questioned his ability to lead, and so I mean, how best the way to lead than to come in and
so that's how Ghana drew 2-2 with Turkey, and we're looking ahead to that game on the 6th of September. Now let me properly introduce my guest now. I have Rob, who is joining us for the very first time. Hi, Robert.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. And then Paco Arthur, who is a regular guest on the Saturday program. I'd like to describe Rob as my new in-house Premier League expert. We are going to look at the English Premiership, which has already started. First goal has been scored. And it's a man who flatters to deceive, who can be good, and then can be frustratingly bad as well. He scored for Liverpool. Daniel Sturridge.
Yep, I think this season is going to be a big season for Daniel Sturridge. I think, you know, linking up with Coutinho, and if Suarez stays, he could be a very, very big player, I reckon.
And that game currently underway is Liverpool against Stoke, 1-0 to Liverpool. Would you want to bet on Liverpool winning?
Sure. I mean, Rodgers did so good 2 seasons ago with Swansea. It would be very deceptive to think that Liverpool won't come good at some point. I mean, with the kind of work that went into Swansea and made Swansea look so good, I think that, but it won't be achieved in a day. So that first win in the season will be a good booster for his side. So
let's take a closer look now at how things are likely to turn out in the English Premiership. And let's start with the managers. We have a few new managers. We have some old managers who just changed clubs in the English Premiership. Let's see how things will turn out. So, guys, let's look at the managers now, and let's start with the big clubs. So, at Manchester United, you have Moyes taking office, and what we've seen is that lots of people are not exactly too confident in David Moyes' ability, and it wasn't helped by the fact that during the week he was talking about how Sir Alex Ferguson will act as his advisor, that he went to see him during the week, and that his presence is still there. People feel that it's a different man, but the same old man pulling the strings in the background. Rob, do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree. I think Sir Alex is a big part of Man United. I think he will be until the day he dies. I think, you know, I agree with that totally.
Paco?
Sure. So I mean, can you fault him? Can you fault him? His master has done a good job. He needs to go in there and then ask of him, ask this advice, his blessings. And I'm sure that Alex Ferguson has given all the indications that Moyes is able to step in his shoes. I find it difficult where others now make us believe that this is an impossibility. He has started well. Last week won a good game against Wigan. And so let's see. I'm sure, like you rightly said, Ferguson would always be there to help out. This team is a team Ferguson has put together.
What do you make of his whining this week about the fixture and the fact that it was very unfair to Manchester United? Because Manchester United will have to play, after playing Swansea, they have to play Chelsea, Man City, and play Liverpool in their first 5 fixtures.
I think it's just the luck of the draw, really. I think, you know, some days fixtures are going to go your way and some days they're not. So I think you just got to take it on the chin and to do the fixtures, really.
He was refusing to look at it from the other way, which is the fact that it means that towards the end of the season, you may be having some easy fixtures, which may prove crucial in the running.
It really wouldn't matter. You have to win your matches, win, draw, or lose, so that small club, big club, you still have to win. What is crucial here is the fact that I think that Moyes is doing what Mourinho would have done some years back as a juvenile. I mean, messing the waters, trying to find problems where there is no problem. But it is good, so that we will see that he's up for the competition. He can see a fault when there is. And Sammy, as a manager of Man United is a big stakeholder in this whole English Premiership business, okay? The coach of Man United should be able to amass some clouds and be able to have a say on issues, so that it is genuine. That's his opinion. He feels that it is clumsy. We can't be faulty, but that won't stop him also from playing with it. So
manager number 2, Manuel Pellegrini, he signed 2 world-class strikers. Now he has a world-class strike force. 4 of them. He's added Jovetic, and then he's added the chap from Spain, and then he kept Edin Dzeko, who was expected to be sold, and then there's Sergio Aguero, although they lost Tevez. Now, the question is, the first Chilean manager in English football, can he recapture the title for Manchester City?
I like to think he can. I think he's come under the radar. I think Moyes coming in for United is like completely outshone Pellegrini coming in. So, yeah, I think the first few games will be really interesting to see what happens.
And this is a manager who hasn't won any, he didn't win any silverware in Spain, which is the big question people still ask. That he may be good, but all he's done is to, you know, coach Malaga to a respectable position in Champions League, coach Villarreal to a respectable position.
How about Real Madrid?
Coach Real Madrid.
He won the league one season.
He was close, but he didn't win it.
Oh, I think Pellegrini won his
No, he didn't.
He didn't win his league.
Win.
Okay, let me get my... But beyond that, he's a good coach. I mean, while we can't take anything also away from Pellegrini. Manchester United, Man City looked on the market, and the only reason why Mancini had to go was because they needed someone better. I mean, someone who can put...
Is he better?
I think he will lay the team on the field better. That I'm sure. We'll see Manchester United
play better football.
Good. They'll play better football. We'll see them. I think he will make use of his. But
can he win back the Premier League? That's a big question. Foreign manager may play good football, has come into the league. Obviously, the league will be top priority for them.
I think also a big priority for them is the Champions League this year for them. I think Man City have really underperformed in the Champions League, and I think they've really got to step up to the plate and reach the semis, if not the final. With the team that they've got, they should be doing a lot better.
Well, Mourinho has been running his mouth ahead of the start of the season. They say he's not as lean as he was when he came. He's not as hungry as he was when he came. And there's always the curse of the second coming. But Mourinho is extremely confident that he says they can win the league. And he tips his team to be the one to win the league. What kind of campaign awaits Mourinho on his second coming?
I think that is a much relaxed campaign. It's a campaign he would take his time at. I mean, this is an area he has worked around before, gained success in there before. So I'm sure he knows how to win those difficult matches. He knows how to travel on the road. He knows how to grind those wins, those 1-0 wins. Remember in his time at Chelsea, even when you thought was going to end in a draw, they'll pull that vital 1-0 win. And that's what Mourinho brings. Mourinho brings that X factor, that extra
Definitely,
thing.
yes.
And it is an energy that players can strive on. Even the technical bench can. It means they'll put in more effort in their training regimes, and it means that the whole complete system will work well. That's what I think that Mourinho brings to Chelsea and brings to the English Premiership. I think it's the glamour that the English Premiership really awaits. I mean, the Mourinho involvement this season. The big money spenders have not been in the Premiership. The big players have not necessarily come to the Premiership. And so some light has been taken off the Premiership to some extent. But Mourinho still becomes that shining light that I think that will continue to generate excitement.
Could Mourinho end up being his own worst enemy because of the standard he set for himself?
Definitely. He's like reached the top at Chelsea before, so he can really only go down in like people's opinion. So I don't know. I think he's matured as a manager, and I think he's still got the flair and drive that he does have at Chelsea before, but I think he's grown up a bit, and I think he's a better manager coming to Chelsea now than he was before.
Chelsea have also proven to be the most demanding club in the Premiership, perhaps in Europe, because of the regularity, they change managers. Yeah. But even in that space, you find out that Mourinho has been the longest serving. It just goes to show that who has stayed longer, who formed the structures. I mean, Ranieri may have started this revolution thing, but we all know that it is Mourinho who gave it the bite it needs. Mourinho will take room of the dressing room. What Rafa Benitez perhaps and Roberto failed to do really was to take charge of the dressing room, to impress themselves. You see, some players will have to sit on the bench regardless. And if Torres, I don't think Torres will have a problem sitting on the bench under Mourinho. He may have had that problem sitting on the bench for Roberto, but not for Mourinho. Mourinho has a way of getting into the heads of these players. I'm particularly excited about Mourinho's involvement.
And quickly, to wrap up on the top managers, the grand old man himself, Arsene Wenger, is going to preside over another season at Arsenal. You would think that he should be the Riley old fox, wiser than everybody else because he's been in that long. But he's under pressure. And this season could be defined. This could be the season where nobody forgives him for not improving. Like
Tottenham have brought in a lot of big names, big players, and you know, Arsenal have brought in anyone. I feel if Tottenham really go above Arsenal in the league this year, I think he will be in big trouble. Arsenal would not want to have Tottenham finish above them.
And still he remains defiant, says I'm not miserly and I'm going to sign 2 or 3 players before August is over.
So, I mean, in the last 10 decades, have we seen Arsene Wenger go below the top 4? For me, it becomes very difficult an argument to take, especially when you want to devalue his input in Arsenal and what he can achieve at the end of the day.
Is that enough? Qualifying for the Champions League, is that enough for the long-suffering Arsenal fans?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Sammy, what has Arsenal won before Arsene Wenger's? You see, it is very competitive out there. PSG and Monaco and Co didn't used to be in the mix. Now they are. So it means that the pool is even bigger.
But who cares about what he's won before? The last 8 seasons have been empty.
Yeah. But he's played conservatively in the Champions League, consecutive times. I think 8 times,
16 years.
Wouldn't it be frustrating knowing that you're regular at 4th place and that perhaps purchasing right, they just lift the club into competing for the main title, which is the English Premiership?
I think it's really annoying because Arsenal have always been so close to winning it recently. I think if they brought in like a few players, world-class players, a season or 2 ago, that we probably would have won something. But it's getting to the point now where we're just settling for the Champions League. And I don't think that's an ambition that Arsenal should be striving for.
And if Arsenal is a magnet that should be capturing players, well, it has not worked so far. Luis Gustavo opts to play for Wolfsburg rather than Arsenal. And so far, as it turns out, it looks like the Suarez deal may not happen. Suarez was on the pitch before the start of the Liverpool game with his children, waving to the Liverpool fans, trying to reconcile with them. We understand also that yesterday he made a formal apology to his manager, Brendan Rodgers. And he is another person who is expected to finish higher than he did last season, Brendan Rodgers.
Yes, and that's why Suarez's stay is crucial to him. I mean, this is your best player. Last season gave you 30+ goals. I mean, he has shown that in the Premiership, when it comes to wittiness, ability to put the ball behind the net, he has it in abundance. Why let him go? And it's not as if they have... And Coutinho came in very good last season, to the tail end of last season.
Definitely,
built some very good partnership with Sturridge. Sturridge himself has had the experience that he needs. I mean, translates from potential from Man City, Chelsea, now to Liverpool. And you think that perhaps this season becomes the defining season.
Is Rodgers capable of taking Liverpool into the top 4 this season?
Rodgers is capable of building a very good team. That we are sure of. We saw him do it with Swansea. Top 4, that would be difficult. But Liverpool 3 seasons ago were gunning for the title.
Top 4 against the backdrop of how the other teams have strengthened. So you're looking at Manchester United, Man City, Chelsea, and Arsenal from last season filling up the top 4, and then Tottenham Hotspur, do they have what it takes to overtake any of these clubs?
I'm not sure. I think it's harder than ever. This year is probably one of the hardest seasons to break into the top 4. All like the top 6 teams are investing heavily into the teams so they get to the top 4. So I think it's going to be very, very hard for them. But the players they brought in, they got a chance, I would say.
And yeah,
they haven't necessarily brought in class, but like I said, this is a team that this is a coach that believes in the team system, and so if he can, has his team been strengthened? That I doubt.
It's also interesting because obviously they let Reina go to Napoli and they're bringing in Mignolet.
Yeah,
Reina wasn't happy about that.
Yeah, but Reina's a good goalkeeper, so is Mignolet going to do well at Liverpool or not? I mean, if they have a dodgy start with him at the beginning of the season, it could really let them down.
But Mignolet has been touted as a very good goalkeeper.
Yes. Maybe the change, the step up.
And he has an eye on playing for Belgium at the World Cup. His major competition is Thibaut Courtois, who is a regular goalkeeper for Atletico Madrid. Considered one of the top 3 goalkeepers in the world at the moment, but not good enough to play for Chelsea. He's still alone with his club side, Atletico Madrid. So in wrapping up, let's again look at we are looking at the top 4 placement and who should win the league. And it's instructive to know that Mourinho says that he's been unimpressed with any of the sides that have won the league in the last 3 years. This is what he thinks. He says that you think Man United won the league last season because they were an unbelievable team. I don't think so. The other contenders didn't have a good season. It's the same the year before. Man City won the title, but they weren't an extraordinary team. I don't think so. So he says that in the last few years, clubs that have won the league have won not because they are exceptional, but because the other teams lost a lot of points and didn't play well enough. And he makes reference to his Chelsea team, who were domineering, including accumulating a total of 95 points in one season, which was a record back then. Do you agree that, yes, top 4 teams, but the teams have not been as competitive as previous years?
I would say what defines a club that makes them exceptional, I think the Champions League does. And, you know, Man City and Man United haven't really done too well in the last couple of seasons with the Champions League, especially Man City. So I think he's got a point, to be honest.
Paco, you agree?
True. I mean,
it's not just about winning. Who cares how you do it?
How you do it translates, like my brother has already said, into a very good outing in the Champions League. And the Champions League is the yardstick, is the measure. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and co have dominated it for some time. And the English involvement has reduced drastically. It used to be 3 English clubs in the quarterfinals. Now, now it's almost 0. Okay, so Mourinho is right. Perhaps the domestic football is not generating enough competition or perhaps quality to meet the real standard, which is the Champions League. And I think that's what Mourinho brings into the mix. And this season, I see Chelsea to be the only realistic English side who can compete in Europe.
So if I push you to the wall, based on the teams and the strength of each team, who will be your pick for the title and your top 4?
I would pick Chelsea to win.
Even without a world-class striker, because it's emerging as a critical point for them that if they don't get a reliable goal scorer, they might be in trouble.
Well, if they get Rooney, I'll put money on them winning the league. But yeah, for the top 4, I would put Man United in there. I would put Spurs in there. I'll put the Tottenham in there. I really would.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a bold prediction.
If they keep Bale, if they don't keep Bale, I don't think they're going to make top 4. But I reckon they could be a dark horse this year.
So Chelsea for the title,
yep.
Man United,
Tottenham and Arsenal, I think.
No Man City in the top 4?
It's so hard to choose, so hard to choose.
Paco.
Yeah, Man City have got to be in there already, haven't they?
I saw Man City play pre-season and I thought they had the most physical side. I mean, in terms of physique.
Jordan Lescott said during the week in an interview that the first thing Pellegrini did was to start working on their physical game.
Yeah, they seem very physical, and it will be difficult to believe that a team of their caliber in the last 2-3 years in the English Premiership will not get into the top 4. I reckon Chelsea obviously will start as favourites because of the Mourinho factor, because Mourinho seemed to... I think Mourinho's dream of taking over Man United, he would want to impress that dream with Chelsea. And
you think he still has...
I don't think he does. I don't think he does. But he'd want to legalize his stance with Chelsea. It should start by winning the Premiership and then going on to it. Arsenal will be in there definitely. Tottenham has not been impressed. I see you win or you stand a good chance of playing well in any league system when you can do the stretch, when you can start through the middle, still keep consistency through the 2 tiers down the line and to the end. That's what Tottenham does not have. Tottenham always, at some point in their season, they falter, they break, and they take too much time to pick themselves up. With the experience that Arsene Wenger has, you want to give it to Chelsea. Man U definitely will start as favourite because they are the current champions.
But you think Chelsea has a realistic chance of
Sure,
winning
Chelsea, Man United,
Man
City, Arsenal.
Okay, out of the teams you have discussed in the top 4, is there any other team you're expecting to impress? There's Everton, who finished 6th. Now it's Roberto Martinez who is in charge.
I don't think they'll do that well this season. I think they lost, I think if they lose Fellaini or someone, or Baines, they might slip down the table.
We've seen Swansea come back. We've seen Cardiff come back as well. We've seen Hull City come back. Which of these are likely to stay?
Liverpool have the stature to be up there. So I see them as the outsiders for the top 4. That aside, whoa, are we going to talk about a relegation battle now or something? The English Premiership has a way of letting that part of it wait till perhaps January. It's so difficult to tell.
So we shouldn't rule out Cardiff, Crystal Palace and Hull City yet?
Over the years, the teams that have come are not always in a hurry to go. Perhaps apart from Norwich and a few others, Hull City. But beyond them, all those who have come have been desperate to stay. And there's been a deliberate investment to ensure
So let's wrap up with the players to look out for in this season's English Premiership. We know that English Premiership would have loved to have Edinson Cavani play.
Sure.
Neymar, perhaps, because Chelsea had been tracking him way before Barcelona managed to get him. The top players did not come, but we still have quite some. Negredo is here, Jovetic is here, Fernandinho is here, Schürrle is here, Roberto Soldado is here, Iago Aspas is here, Paulinho is here, Victor Wanyama from Kenya has just signed from Celtic. Which player for you would make the biggest impression this season?
I'm personally really interested to see how Jesus Navas does for Man City. Yeah. I think he'll be a good player. I think Paulinho as well. He's one of the better central defensive midfielders as well. I think he'll have a good season. Yeah.
Paco?
I'm looking at a new phase. I think the English Premiership now has opportunity for newcomers in terms of performance. Yeah. And so Paulinho was very decent at the Confederations Cup. A lot of confidence in the middle half. I dread his partnership with the other Brazilian. What's his name? Sandro. Yeah. Sandro. That would be a very strong midfield.
Definitely. Van
Persie sure will be there. Van Persie for sure would be your most reliable source for goals, and so you cannot take Van Persie out. Jesus Navas is surely an improvement of the two Walkers and the Leonards and the Malonis that we see, and the Milners that we see in the Premiership. So
City played without any real pace on the wings.
But Joe Tevich has dipped in form. I don't even know why.
From
Fiorentina. I don't know why Man City invested so much in him. But Dzeko came into the English Premiership as the as the highest goal scorer in the Bundesliga, and through preseason, I think he's been their most sure source of goals. And so I'm looking at Dzeko also in the mix.
Nobody's talking about Suarez.
Suarez, of course. Suarez.
Depends where he goes.
I thought cleverly seemed like the only bright spot in that game that England played against Scotland. Cleverly seemed like he's in pole position to do well for United. But we want to rule out Shangi Kagawa. If Moyes is willing enough to give him that central role, perhaps
he cut short his holiday this year, so he had a very short time off, just so he could train hard and make sure that he gets into the team this season.
Sure, and that Brazilian lad too for Chelsea, what's his name?
Oscar.
Yeah. Intelligent lad, extremely intelligent.
Well, I'm wrapping up here, and some of your messages on Twitter. This one says from Sandra, who says that Man United is retaining the title. Glory, glory, Man United. Obviously a Man United fan. This one says, well, this is about athletics. He says, when corruption lies in your association, this is what you get. He's talking about guys are going and winning the medal for the Netherlands. We are the biggest losers. I'm sorry about the technical hitches which prevented us from starting the show much earlier than we would otherwise have started. It meant we just did 30 minutes of the program. But there's full compensation on Monday night at 9 p.m. on that edition of the game. So forgive me for today, but make a date with us on Monday by which time we would know how the first round of matches in the English Premiership went. So we'll give you the highlights and the breakdown and analysis of that, plus La Liga, which is also starting this weekend. And who would want to bet beyond Real Madrid and Barcelona? So perhaps there are two competitions, the league title between Real Madrid and Barcelona and the other league title between everybody else. We'll have highlights and analysis for you on Monday, plus the final stages of the World Athletics Championships, which is currently underway in Moscow. Thank you very much for joining us on behalf of the team. Have a wonderful weekend.